You've got a great story angle, awesome quotes to work with, and a solid lead. Now it's time to talk about how to put the rest of your story together in P16 story structure. So this particular target starts at the 1 level with, I can write a story with specific information and transitions. Now, specific information is going to be different from our 2 level and on up, where you'll see it uses quotes, right? For coverage reasons, for both yearbook and for newspaper, we really want to try and use as many student quotes as possible. Students are going to feel more included in our work and more likely to read and purchase if they know that we're paying attention and we're using the things that they say. So try and move beyond that specific information right into quotes, and then of course keep transitions for that 2 level. At a 3 level, you can write a well-formulated story using good quotes and transitions, and we'll talk about what that means. And at the 4 level, it's still well-formulated, it's still using good quotes and transitions, but it's unique to the year. And we've talked about this before, story angle. There's a bit of overlap here. Make sure that what you're writing about is something that is special, not something that I could have read any other school year. So we'll talk first about quality quotes, what you need to get a 3 and a 4 for this particular target. We've already talked about this in interview sources, but you want to make sure that your source, and therefore your speaker for your quotes, is knowledgeable and relevant. Should be someone who is fully in the know about whatever angle that you've chosen, and also someone who people are going to care to hear from. You'll also want to look to see if the word choice is interesting. If they used strong nouns, verbs, and adjectives, if they used unique phrases, that's a good sign that their quote is worth using. If they said something better than you can say it yourself, use the quote. If not, paraphrase it, okay? It's okay to say so-and-so mentioned and then put it into your own words, okay? Is it original? If anyone else could say the same thing, it's not a good quote to use. And does it have emotion? Emotion is what tends to get people's interest, so look for those places to pull emotion into your stories and into your quotes through your interviews. A quick test for you, a quote A and a quote B. Quote A, it was a good season, we learned a lot and won some big games, explained Coach Doe, versus quote B. This season was so different from the past. Coach Doe expected us to treat every practice like a game, go hard every day. That intensity helped us improve and win against teams like Fowler and PW, said Junior Joe Smith. Which one of these quotes would be the best quote to use? Well, we actually can look a bit at the length to help us decide here if you really want to go the easy way, but length doesn't always tell us which quote is best. If you look at quote A, it's pretty short and to the point. It was a good season. Well, that doesn't really give us a ton of emotion. They learned a lot. Important, but I could probably paraphrase that myself. Won some big games. Well, I mean, what big games? Not very specific. But if you look over at quote B, we've got a bit more here. We have a different season from the past. We have why that was, that we had to practice like it was a game, to go hard every day. That starts to bring in some of that emotion. Intensity is a pretty strong word. And then we've got specific teams, Fowler and P-Dub, that are used as examples within the quote. That makes quote B the best choice here. Once you've selected the quotes that you want to use, you need to consider how you can transition between them. Okay. Now, good transitions between your quotes will help explain the quotes. They'll give the extra information necessary, such as statistics, the scores of the games. They'll also introduce the next quote. They're going to be fairly short. Newspaper articles and yearbook stories are not you writing a lengthy essay. They're you conveying other people's thoughts about the events. They do not need to refer to you as the author of the story. You do not need to say, I asked, da-da-da-da-da. You can cut that part out and just let the people speak for themselves. Here's an example. Now, I'll admit that I took both of those quotes we already looked at, so try not to hold that against me. It was just an easy way to show you the transitions here. In typical to-the-point fashion, Coach Doe said, okay, so notice here in this early transition, I'm introducing who said what, it's Coach Doe, and I'm also giving a little bit of a reason why I might have used such a short quote, that he is generally to the point. So this quote now serves to illustrate who he is as well. It was a good season. We learned a lot and won some big games. His players, though, reveal how Coach Doe helped them learn and win. So now I'm transitioning into my next quote, right? The first one was from Coach Doe and what was special about the season. Now I've transitioned. I've used this to help show that we're going to hear from a player. Here's the quote, and I'm using this right to start my paragraph. This season was so different from the past. Coach Doe expected us to treat every practice like a game and go hard every day. That intensity helped us improve and win against teams like Fowler and PW, said Junior Joe Smith. Notice, again, short transitions at the start of the quote and after the quote to introduce the next one. Here, I've simply ended with the dialogue tag said. I could give another sentence here and give another student's perspective, and that'd be a good thing to do, but I would keep it just to a sentence. Your transitions are going to be short. Again, for story structure, choose solid quotes and solid information to use. Use short transitions, keep yourself out of it, and you will have an interesting and concise newspaper or yearbook story.